Tennessee hosted its final recruiting weekend of the summer. The Big Orange Picnic was a success. Let's bring on Austin Price of Volquest to discuss. Four-star linebacker Chris Cole was on campus, one of the Vols' top linebacker targets. We're expecting a mid to late August decision from him. So what are your sources saying coming out of this visit?
Well, Tennessee did a really good job there. They've kind of been building some momentum the last, month and a half. They tried like crazy in June to get him down here, but he already kind of had his weekend set up. He still has one official visit to take. Could that be to Tennessee in the fall? I certainly think it could be. Some other schools like Alabama are trying to get him to come as well, Josh. But, Tennessee's done a nice job. I think this is Tennessee, Georgia. I think the distance, eliminates Miami. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that, being able to get, fairly frequently to the games is important for the family. And getting to Miami is probably a little tougher than, getting to Knoxville, which is, about 4 hours, or getting to Athens, which is a further drive, but it's still much more doable. So it feels like Tennessee, Georgia there. And I think, honestly, the longer this goes, the better it favors Tennessee. I think if, Georgia's, you saw them, they start to squeeze a few kids here and there. And, if he doesn't get squeezed and jump in the boat in Athens, I think that Tennessee's got a pretty good shot here.
Yeah, Georgia can't take them all. But I want to now talk about somebody that was not on campus for the Orange Picnic, but he was on campus on Friday. That's four-star wide receiver Amari Jefferson, who's going to make his decision on August 4th on the On3 YouTube page. It's getting exciting. Now, he was in Knoxville on Friday. Then he was in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. So, Austin, we're getting down to it. What are you hearing on wide receiver Amari Jefferson?
Well, took both visits, similar comments coming out of both. Wanted one last time to see the staff and all that stuff. I've leaned Alabama for a while. There's still some of this recruitment that just screams Tennessee to me. But, it feels like, he and the family are pretty enamored with playing for Coach Saban. I think the baseball component definitely favors Tennessee, but, he's quick to say that, I'm going to be on football scholarship, which he would be. You can't be on baseball scholarship and play football. So, he wants to be a two-sport star. You don't see that happen a whole lot. Kyler Murray obviously had some success. Jameis Winston dabbled a little bit as a pitcher at Florida State. Charlie Ward, that was 30 years ago when he last played two sports, when he was with basketball and football, and of course Bo and Deion Sanders. A lot of those guys are a long time ago, so it doesn't happen a whole lot. But he is talented enough to do so. I still lean Alabama as of this current time, and we'll see if that changes between now and his decision.
But have you put your pick in?
No, I don't do the picks, Josh. I'm a firm believer in no picks. Got to protect the kids' moment. That's how I feel about it. But that's, again, to each his own. But that's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right. Well, right now you're leaning towards Alabama. Who knows where you'll be leaning at the end of the week? We'll check back in with you. Now, I got to get your final thoughts on Bennett Warren. As we film this, he's going to make his decision in about 4 hours. So Bennett Warren, big-time offensive tackle. What are you hearing in the moments before his decision?
Yeah, again, I feel like Tennessee's done a great job there. They did a phenomenal job on his official visit here. He has, really been smitten with Tennessee for the last 6 weeks. And, I think the whole month of July he's been, heavily Tennessee. I think a few people have, wanted him to kind of take his time with the decision. I think he's finally ready to pull the trigger. And again, as we head into it, I still feel like Tennessee's got the most momentum.
How important is he for this recruiting class for Tennessee?
Massive. Offensive tackle is a big position of need for Tennessee. He's a big boy, 6'8" and 330 pounds. And so I don't think you can, talk about it enough how important, offensive tackles or defensive tackles are for Tennessee in this class.
All right. The next guy I want to talk about, I felt like he was fading. I thought that Tennessee was no longer in the picture, to be honest with you. And then Ryan Wingo showed up in Knoxville. So the 5-star wide receiver shows up for a visit. He's been all over the place. But Austin, where does Tennessee stand right now for Ryan Wingo?
Yeah, I never thought they faded at all. I just thought there were more teams entering the mix. I thought Tennessee was always right there. He's always been visiting Tennessee in November. Officially, Tennessee, I think wisely didn't want to waste their OV in the summertime when he was going to go likely the distance. I mean, he continues to say basically the first day of the early signing periods when he'll announce his decision. Now, could it change? Sure. I mean, kids change their minds all the time, one way or the other. And so, but right now he looks like he's going to go the distance, and Tennessee wisely waited to have that OV until the month of November when he'll roll in here for that Georgia game. So I think Tennessee's definitely in the mix. So is Texas, Miami, you name it. There's a lot of schools after Ryan Wingo, but he and Kelsey Pope have a really good relationship, and I think that's why you saw him come in here a couple times in the spring, and then obviously earlier this week.
All right, let's flip to the other side of the ball and talk top defensive line targets. Now, neither Cam Franklin or Williams Nwaneri is going to come easy. Both are elite prospects at the defensive line position. But in your opinion, right now, who does Tennessee sit in better position with?
I've heard a lot. I've heard Tennessee, mentioned. You talk about fading. It felt like Tennessee was fading for both of those guys the last month, or so. But then the last about week to 10 days, I've heard more and more about both. Cam Franklin, obviously has some people around him that are fond of Tennessee, fond of the orange and white, and I think that has helped things. He went to Miami. He's gone to Auburn, and I think to me this honestly sets up. Everybody keeps saying Miami. It just feels like Tennessee or Auburn to me. Like, I'm just not sure he's a Miami kid. Grandma is very comfortable with Coach Garner in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I think she would be very comfortable with Auburn. Distance from home, not too bad. Ability for the family to come see him play, really, really reasonable. And so, to me, I think this comes down to Tennessee and Auburn. Again, could it end up being Miami? Sure, but in my estimation, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think ultimately it comes down to Tennessee or Auburn. And then Nwaneri, we'll see. He's been at Oregon this weekend. Missouri's making a big push. I don't think Tennessee's going to go quietly into the night. And, then there's still Georgia who, can't fault any defensive guy for wanting to go look at playing for the Bulldogs. So, interesting dynamic here because I think, again, I felt like Tennessee was fading for both, but it feels like they've kind of almost pulled an Undertaker and raised up from the dead a little bit here over the last week to 10 days.
Yeah. Hey. Everybody ebbs and flows in recruiting, and Tennessee was hot at different times, and they're starting to get hot right now. We'll see if they can land Bennett Warren here in just a couple hours and keep this thing rolling. Austin Price, thank you for stopping by today on the Inside Scoop. Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.